Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. And last night during Hulk Hogan's celebratory birthday on the Monday Night Raw, I was fired up. We got to see Brock Lesnar and Hulk Hogan go face to face. And I know that 2002, when you think about it, wasn't all that long ago, but Hulk Hogan, honestly, he looked pretty old on his birthday last night. And if you go back to 2002, when Brock Lesnar and Hulk Hogan had their one and only match, Hogan looked old then. But Hogan didn't look as old as he did last night. And honestly, I seeked out this match on my WWE Network inside of the Smackdown replays. They have this episode, August 8th of 2002, in full. I went over there, honestly, just to watch the Brock Lesnar versus Hogan match. But I ended up just checking out the open of the show. And it was very cool, because this match had been booked the week before. You got to see a whole basic rollout, like it was basically like a pay-per-view montage, celebrating of everything that Hulk Hogan had done in his career, every monster that he had stood up against, from Andre the Giant to Big John Studd. They talked about how he took down all of these giants and he was able to persevere through those guys, how he was able to beat real wrestling legends such as Macho Man Randy Savage and Triple H. They played this match up like it was the main event of WrestleMania, and it should have been. Hulk Hogan was one of the biggest names in wrestling at that time. In 2002, he had made his return to WWE after WCW closed down, something that a lot of people never thought was going to happen. And then, on the other hand, you had Brock Lesnar, who came in as a rookie, as one of the biggest stars WWE was creating in a real long time. You could tell by looking at Brock when he hit the ring on his first night, the night after WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, that you had never seen anybody like this. He was huge. He was built like a Mack truck, and he wasn't like a lot of the giants that came in, or a lot of the big guys. They didn't really have speed and mobility. It was like the complete package. I know that he screwed up doing the jump at WrestleMania 19, but this was a guy that, on dark matches, he was, hitting flipperoos off the damn top of the top rope. He could pick guys up. He could slam them down. The F5 looked like one of the most brutal moves in all of wrestling. Basically, the number one contendership at SummerSlam 2002 was on the line here, as well as Brock wanted this match just to basically set his legacy in the WWE. He wanted to take down all of the heroes that people had before. He wanted everyone to know that he was going to be the star of WWE. It was a lot like the storyline that they have going now, where he wanted, Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. He wanted to be that guy, hired for money to take out the biggest stars there were. Paul Heyman knew the legend of Paul Heyman knew the legend of Hulk Hogan, and he sort of called Brock out at saying, like, you're not supposed to go out and challenge guys like these. He's Hulk Hogan. He's able to overcome all of the odds. When this show started, honestly, I started watching the first match of the night. It ended up being John Cena taking on Kurt Angle in the opening match. They were building up the Ruthless Aggression era on SmackDown, saying that, these were the new stars of tomorrow. This was a really good wrestling match. I think that Cena had debuted on SmackDown a few weeks before. He was really fresh. He was still wearing the, authentic wrestling sort of tight shorts. Not tight shorts, but shorts, but tights at the same time. You know which ones I'm talking about. He had them in like 1,000 colors before he started wearing the jorts when he did the rapping gimmick. But there was the 100 run-ins. Basically, Chris Benoit ran in, which made Rey Mysterio run in, which made Eddie Guerrero run down, which I think made, I can't remember who the last one was. I was going to say Chris Jericho, but the only reason why Eddie and Benoit were on the show is because Jericho left SmackDown. They told that story on the Heyman show. I can't remember who the third guy was. It set up a six-man for later in the night. But let's get down to the main thing of the video, was just reviewing Brock versus Hogan. This was a match that was set up much like, WrestleMania 3. Hogan came in there. He would get a little of that offense, and then, of course, he would be stopped. We got to see the outside interference of Paul Heyman trying to butt his head into there. There was a few times when they made it look like, Hogan was going to be able to overcome the odds and be able to beat Brock and pin him right there in the center of the ring, because it just was a whole, we got to see him do the big boot, and every time he would go for the leg drop, something would happen, like Heyman would come out of there. So it was like, whoa, Hogan's going to win this shot. Hogan's going to go on to SummerSlam, and Hogan's going to face The Rock, and that's going to be a big deal. Stephanie had said, as the GM of SmackDown, that no matter what happened in this match, WWE was going to come out a winner by either setting up Hogan versus Rock 2, the rematch from WrestleMania 18, or she was going to get Brock Lesnar versus The Rock, which is guaranteed to be a moneymaker as well. But, there was a spot in this ring when Hogan was going to go for the leg drop, and Paul Heyman interfered in the match, and Hogan was leaning over the top rope, trying to grab Heyman. Brock came from behind and hit him, brought him into the center of the ring and hit him with the F5. And as he was laying on the ring, basically, everyone's yelling at Brock. He's just looking down on what he had done and taking down Hulk Hogan. He's just looking at him he's trying to show off what he's done to everyone else, and he's trying to soak in as well what's happened in the ring. But this is some of the best stuff, man. Brock picks up Hogan and just gives him a giant bear hug and just chokes the life out of Hogan to where basically he's not able to respond. They call the match, and basically, Heyman has to come in. Brock doesn't want to let go. Heyman's pleading with Brock, please let go, please let go. He finally lets him go. I don't even know what spot in the match Hogan got busted open in, but Hogan's bleeding on the ground and he's all busted open. Taz is trying to say that the blood on his head is nothing. There's got to be internal bleeding inside of Hulk, and that's going to be what the main problem is going to be once they get him to the hospital. But basically, Brock leaves, and he starts walking up to the ramp before he turns back and comes into the ring. He gets down on Hogan, and he yells at him a little bit, and he's sort of choking him, and he takes his hand, and he wipes it across Hogan's forehead, get the blood on it, and just smears it on his chest to show off like a warrior, what he had just done to overtake it all. I don't know why these two never met up again. The story is that basically Hogan did this match on SmackDown with an agreement with Vince McMahon that Survivor Series, Hogan would come back and Hogan would get to beat Brock Lesnar, and then they would have another match where basically Brock would beat Hogan again, but Hogan would get to be the champion, he'd get the main event, the main pay-per-view, and there'd be a lot of money behind that. But when it all came down to it and Hogan came back to Vince said it wasn't the time to beat Brock, and that is when they had a major falling out. Hogan would leave the WWE. Of course, he wouldn't go anywhere else until 2010. Actually, WWE got him back in 2005 and 2006, and I think he was there whenever Raw Homecoming was. I can't remember what year that was, but those are the 3 shows that he did after these. Brock would end up turning babyface at Survivor Series with Big Show beating him on the one show that Vince McMahon said it wasn't the time to beat him. Big Show and Paul Heyman would beat Brock Lesnar for the championship, and Brock Lesnar would just continue his run from there. But that was Hogan and Brock. Make sure you check it out. SmackDown, August 8th of 2002. Great show.